Whatto chaps, I'm MagicalMike, and have you ever considered running Dragon Slash? This is a classic warrior DPS build that's one of my favourites, but how does it work? It's relatively simple to run, it pumps out loads of damage, can fuel huge team-wide support with Save Yourselves, and can lock down a single target and prevent it from playing the game for about 20 seconds, for those times when you really need to get rid of that one annoying enemy. Like and subscribe while I explain the build. Some of this footage is from before it got buffed recently, by the way. First off, let's go over the skills and attributes. Max out swordsmanship and strength. Well, that was simple enough. For skills, Dragon Slash, Brawling Headbutt, Whirlwind Attack, Steel Fang Slash, Flail, Enraging Charge, Save Yourselves, and Reforged Justice. This is the base, but if you feel like you don't need Save Yourselves, if the team already has tons of defense, you can swap it out for another PvE skill, or go /Paragon for Enduring Harmony and Leadership, which makes Reforged Justice last 10 seconds longer. Another important swap to add is Azuran Scan, which nullifies most counters to this build by preventing enemies from blocking and ignoring blindness or mischance. You might also feel like swapping Whirlwind Attack instead if you feel like you need to keep Save Yourselves, or you can swap out both if you like. Warriors are a funny old profession in today's Guild Wars, having a lot of issues to deal with that most casters simply don't. They can be blocked, blinded, crippled, weakened, many hexes can make you miss, there's adrenaline denial skills, clumsiness, empathy, lots of problems, and this build basically suffers from all of them if you don't use Azuran Scan. So unless you absolutely know that you won't need it, it's usually best to keep it on the bar anyway. Adrenaline Denial completely shuts this whole build down, so do be careful against enemies that use the Visage skills. And our reliance on Flail is also a minor hindrance if enemies are prone to running around a lot, since it slows our movement speed down. But we can alleviate that a little bit with Brawling Headbutt. But I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let's talk about the skills and how they work. Our elite Dragon Slash returns 4 or 5 adrenaline if you hit with it, depending on how high your swordsmanship is. It takes 8 adrenaline to use it in the first place, and it used to be 10, but a recent buff reduced that. So with Reforged Justice active, it pays more than it costs, returning 10 adrenaline every time. And since there's no cooldown on the skill, you can literally just run in, build 8 adrenaline, and then spam Dragon Slash until Reforged Justice runs out. And if you just want to do max single target DPS, then that's all you need to do. Spam the elite while keeping Flail active for the attack speed buff. There is more to it though. Start off an engagement with Enraging Charge to reach the enemies more quickly, and when you hit the first melee attack, you'll gain 2 or 3 adrenaline off the bat, double if you're using Reforged Justice just before you connect. And with that you can activate Flail, attack once or twice more, and then unleash the dragon. Brawling Headbutt is secretly the true star of the build though. It's the skill that keeps those dangerous enemies on their derrieres until they're dead. At 7 adrenaline a pop, it's not cheap under normal circumstances, but Dragon Slash can easily fuel that. So between every D slash, you can headbutt something to sit them down. Combine that with a Stone Fist insignia on your armour and you can easily keep something on the floor. Dragon Slash, Brawling Headbutt, then Dragon Slash until you see them standing back up, and then repeat the headbutt. Bonus points if you have Earthbind on the team for extra nap time. Steel Fang Slash combines with Brawling Headbutt quite nicely as well. If you hit a knockdown enemy with this skill, you gain 4 to 5 more adrenaline. While this isn't useful during Reforged Justice's duration, it does come into play if the fight lasts long enough. You can weave Steel Fang Slash in just after a headbutt to help give extra adrenaline to fuel another Dragon Slash. Just be careful not to spam it randomly. You want to save Steel Fang Slash for after a headbutt, then use the next Dragon Slash after Steel Fang Slash's 1 second cooldown is up to fuel another headbutt and Steel Fang combo. That might sound a bit complicated, but it's easier said than done. Cycling the skills in such a way can keep the high momentum of your attack chains. Whirlwind Attack is handy for hitting grouped up enemies, especially if you have a splinter weapon user, and also fuels your elite if you hit multiple targets. It does still do extra damage, mind, so if you've got adrenaline to spare and your other attacks aren't yet charged, you can toss this out as single enemies anyway. Save Yourselves is there for that sweet plus 100 armour for the team. Dragon Slash can easily keep this available, making it a breeze to keep the team protected for extended periods. However, if you're running a Soul Twister or some other highly effective protection builds, you might want to drop this for the aforementioned optional skills. Azuran Scan can stop enemies from avoiding your Dragon Slashes, which becomes essential in some areas. Missing an elite means a lot of wasted DPS and shutting the build down for a short period. You might also want to consider I Am Unstoppable if you're in knockdown heavy areas, and you can swap out Whirlwind Attack too if you need both or any combination of the few. As for gear, we're looking at bog standard stuff here. If you already play Warrior at all, you probably won't need to make any changes for this build. I'm only running minor runes, but with a superior swordsmanship, you'll be hitting thresholds to return more adrenaline from Steel Fang and Dragon Slash. You'll also just be doing more damage overall. A minor strength is always handy for a warrior, and your insignia can be just about anything that you like, with thought towards a Stone Fist if you want to improve Brawling Headbutt's knockdown time. For the most part though, if you have a regular warrior set, you probably won't need to change anything. Basically just load up on Knight's insignia or just about anything else that gives you plus armour. Similarly, for weapons you can run just about any sword mods that you like. I foolishly haven't customised my sword here, so imagine that you've been seeing 20% more damage throughout this video. A Furious mod can occasionally grant some extra adrenaline, Sundering works for anything, and Vampiric is always handy as well. If you're running specialised team builds that require physical or elemental damage, you can easily swap those in here, as this build itself has no dependencies. The shield should ideally be a strength one, with, again, just about anything you like. 30 hit points is nice, along with luck of the draw or run for your life for a tiny bit of damage reduction, but again, run anything you like. For team support, consider orders like Order of the Vampire, Order of Pain or Dark Fury if you have the space for them. Usually these are only really worth it if you have multiple physical builds on the team, but they're starting to come back into more use with recent buffs to hero AI and people starting to think about running more physical teams. Withering Aura on your Minion Master or Death Magic hero can apply weakness with every attack that you do, which is plenty helpful support. Strength of Honour is almost a must-have somewhere, granting an extra 10 to 20 damage per hit, almost half as much as Dragon Slash itself. Splinter Weapon is usually a must-have too for the extra AoE damage, but Warmonger's Weapon can add even more caster shutdown if you can't keep stuff knock-locked. And I suppose you can consider dual cast LE skills like Gust and Double Dragon in places if you fancy it. You are a melee build after all, so I'm really just suggesting basic stuff to help you hit things harder. And I'd say that's just about it. This is one of my favourite classic warrior builds that I used to use during my Guam grind, back when we could only use 3 heroes. It's got lots of damage, lots of shutdown and lots of team support all in one. It's got great roll compression on this bar. So cheers for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.